we're back at the beautiful Hilltop Farm in Meander. We've got over here Petrina and Nelson, and if you want to follow me, we're going to have a chat to them.
G'day.
Hello. Okay, well on the right here we've got John. He's a Shire gelding. He's 13 years old and we've had him since he was a baby. And on the left there we've got Ted. He's a Clydesdale gelding and he's 12 years old. And we've had him since he was about 8 years old. And today they're in driving harness. Their collars and hames are from America, they're Amish, and the spider harness that you see is Australian and probably about 50 years old. The lorry is a Glinkowski carriage imported from Poland and it's about 3 years old. And we're having a bit of a practice run today in preparation for Steamfest, which is in 2 weeks' time at Sheffield.
Can you tell us a bit about what you're about to embark on in part of the training that you're doing?
So it's basically just keeping the horses fit. You know, doing a bit with them every now and again to keep them fit and keep them active in what they know and what they're trained to do. The Shire and Clydesdale Horses came out in the early days of the early pioneers. Before the horses, they were actually bullock teams. And then they discovered that the Clydesdales and Shires could work a bit heavier than the bullock teams could, and so they started using horses. And they were using horses for general haulage, farming, all kinds of transport kind of work. That's what they were for. The Shire horse did actually die out a little bit, and Clydesdale become the most predominant kind of a horse in Australia. Unfortunately, there's not really a lot of things for them to do these days, so they're actually quite an endangered species. Really, they're all, you know, there's not that many of them left around. So we work with the Tasmanian light horse, and we actually I rebuilt a replica World War I ambulance. So the two boys pull the ambulance around at the at the light horse events. So this year we'll be at Steamfest. And that just gives the general public an idea, like, you know, what the horses have to do in wartime too.
Oh,
Yeah. Authentic.
that's awesome. I'm going to sample that and put it on a tune.
Bonnie's on trumpet.
The fresh air of Hilltop Farm,
That's it.
as long as you're in front of the horse.
You see the two big straps behind the back end of the horse there, that's actually the bridging,
Yeah.
and that's actually the brakes. We've been down here a couple of hours with them.
Yeah.
And so that's probably enough just to give them a bit of a, I mean, just give a little bit of a exercise for them and get them back in condition. Best just work them on a bit of soft grass or
like the rock stars that they are. They, I mean, they're here to be loved and enjoyed.
Yeah.
Cool.
But they also need a purpose in life.
Yes. Yes.
Otherwise, it's like a human being. They get depressed and they just stand in the corner, and it's not good for them.
Yeah, just go to seed.
So they need a purpose.
So the reason why the Shires died out in Australia in the early pioneer days was because they had shorter legs and were stockier and couldn't travel distance with the farmers. So a Clydesdale could step out and make bigger strides and go further distances than a Shire. So that's why the Shire died out over the years. And the first Shires were actually imported back into Australia in the early 80s, 1980s. And they've developed the breed again since then. And there's probably about 250 Shires in Australia now.
Right, also, this is a Lees Brothers wagon, made probably around about 100 years ago, thereabouts. Locally made in Longford, Tasmania, so probably about, I don't know, 60 kilometres or so from here. This one has an attachment on the top here which you can actually lift off, but this actually folds up and you stack all your hay on there when you're bringing your hay in. Once you've finished doing that, you just lift this off and it just becomes into a general purpose farm wagon. And when I say wagon is a term you use for a vehicle. The wheels are all on the outside of the vehicle. So this is the lorry. So this is just another general purpose 5-ton lorry. So your driver would sit there, you put your goods on here and you just go around delivering your general goods, could be anything. Over there is actually what used to be the West End Brewery team's lorry. That's been all around Australia in its day. We have 15 beer barrels fixed on that as well as just them 3. And we'll be pulled with 4 horses. This here is a reproduction World War I ambulance. So these are just protective covers, that's the canvas. These are actually authentic stretchers, and so yeah, if you weren't dead on the battlefield, you probably were dead by the time you got out of that. It's your equivalent to your 10-yard tippers that you see on the highway hauling all your gravel and grain. So he'd pull that along there. You want to pull that lever down and just show what happens. As well, this used to look similar to the one outside, but we restored all this. So this is all redone in Tassie oak. We think this originally come from the Railton area and carried rock because it's got wide wheels and it's got armoured plating on the axle. So we think this used to be used in the quarry. And they used to say that the width of the tyre give you an idea of what it could actually carry in weight. So that's about, I don't know, that's about a 4-inch width of a tyre, so that's telling me that wheel's good for 4 tons. The Shire horse did actually die out a little bit, and Clydesdale become the most predominant kind of horse in Australia. Unfortunately, there's not really a lot of things to do these days, so they're actually quite an endangered species. Really, they're all, you know, there's not that many of them left around.